Everyone thought this marriage was untouchable. The kind of Hollywood love story that survives fame, distance, and time. But behind closed doors, something was already breaking. And now, the details of Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's divorce settlement have finally exposed just how far apart they really were. On paper, it looks calm, clean, almost polite. No screaming headlines. No public courtroom drama. But when you actually look closer, this wasn't a soft landing. It was a carefully controlled exit. Because when a couple married for nearly 2 decades walks away with no child support, no spousal support, and barely a court appearance, that tells a very specific story. And that story didn't start in court. It started long before anyone knew there was a problem. For years, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were held up as one of Hollywood's rare success stories. A-list actress, global music star. They smiled on red carpets, praised each other in interviews. Fans believed this was real love that had beaten the odds. But here's the uncomfortable truth about Hollywood marriages. The ones that look the strongest are often the most carefully managed. Insiders now say cracks were forming long before the public ever noticed. Not explosive fights. Not scandals. Just distance. Silence. Separate routines. The kind of slow separation that doesn't make headlines until it's already over. And when the divorce was confirmed in September 2025, it wasn't sudden to the people closest to them. According to reports, they'd already been living apart since the beginning of that summer. That detail matters. Because couples who quietly separate rarely reconcile. By the time it reaches paperwork, the emotional decision has already been made. And Nicole, according to sources, didn't want it to end that way. The settlement itself is where things get interesting. No child support. No spousal support. Both parties agreeing to waive all claims entirely. In Hollywood divorces, that's rare, even among the ultra-wealthy. On the surface, the explanation is simple. Both Nicole and Keith reportedly earn over $100,000 per month. Neither needs the other financially. But divorces aren't just about need. They're about leverage. And this agreement shows two people determined to cut ties cleanly, even if that means walking away from money most people would never refuse. Then there's the custody arrangement. Their daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, will live with Nicole for 306 days of the year. Keith gets every other weekend. That's not equal. And it's not accidental. Custody schedules like this don't happen unless one parent has clearly taken on the primary role, or unless both sides agree that stability with one parent is better than constant movement. Either way, it quietly signals where the balance of control ended up. And it wasn't with Keith. What makes this split even more telling is how long they stayed silent. No joint statement filled with emotional language. No dramatic interviews explaining conscious uncoupling. Just legal documents and carefully chosen absences. Nicole even waived her right to appear in court. Officially, it was because she had just returned from Australia, where she spent the holidays with their daughters. But symbolically, it said something else. This was already done. There was nothing left to argue. And that's often the most painful kind of ending. To understand why this divorce feels different, you have to understand Nicole Kidman's history. She's been here before. Her marriage to Tom Cruise ended in 2001, and that divorce shaped her public and private life for years. She lost not just a husband, but daily contact with her children. That experience reportedly left deep scars. Which is why sources claim she fought harder than people realized to save her marriage to Keith. Not because of image. Not because of money. But because she didn't want to relive that loss again. Yet as her career surged again, critically acclaimed roles, constant projects, international travel, the balance shifted. And long marriages don't usually collapse from one big event. They erode from 1,000 small absences. Keith Urban's life was moving in a different rhythm. Touring, recording, traveling non-stop. The music industry doesn't pause for family dinners or school schedules. And while nothing has been confirmed, rumors began circulating after the separation that Keith had grown close to his guitarist, Maggie Baugh. To be clear, those rumors were denied. A friend of Baugh's shut them down publicly. But here's the uncomfortable reality. Even unproven rumors can be devastating when trust is already fragile. When couples are living apart, distance creates space for speculation. And speculation creates damage, whether it's true or not. Sometimes the damage doesn't come from betrayal. It comes from exhaustion. What's striking about this divorce is how aggressively both sides avoided financial warfare. They agreed to divide property by mutual consent. Each person keeps what's already in their possession. That includes investments, bank accounts, vehicles, furniture, and personal items. This approach sounds peaceful. But legally, it's also final. No reopening. No future disputes. They even agreed to pay their own legal fees. That's not generosity. That's a deliberate decision to end everything cleanly, fast. Which raises an uncomfortable question. When two people walk away this neatly, how long had they already emotionally checked out? The kids, as always, are the quiet center of this story. Sunday is 17. Faith is 15. Old enough to understand what's happening. Too young to fully escape its impact. The custody arrangement gives them consistency. But it also cements a new reality. Two homes. Two routines. One parent present most of the year. Celebrity divorces often use the word amicable. But that doesn't mean painless, especially for teenagers who grew up believing their parents were the exception. And this timing matters. Nicole didn't fight for court appearances. She fought for time. That tells you exactly where her priorities landed. By the time the divorce was finalized, there was no anger left to perform publicly. Just paperwork. No accusations. No courtroom showdowns. No last-minute reconciliations. After 19 years of marriage, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban didn't explode apart. They faded. And in Hollywood, that might be the most honest ending of all. Because not every love story ends with betrayal. Some end with two people realizing they've already been living separate lives. So here's the question fans are still asking. Was this truly a peaceful split? Or was the calm just proof that everything had already been lost long before the papers were signed? Let me know what you think.